Hello everybody, this is Neha. Welcome to my YouTube channel and my blog. Today I have really something very simple for you which you can create with art supplies or things which you already have at your place. So let's begin first by seeing what we need. First of all, you need paper. Any kind of paper will do. Even printer paper will do. But right now I'm using Canson watercolor paper, which is I think 140 lb paper. It's a very thick paper, but for the matter of that, you can also use plain printer paper. Next you will need a pencil, an eraser, some kind of a pen, blue, black, doesn't matter, and some circular item. I am using some washi tape rolls, different sizes basically. And then for smaller sizes I'm also going to use some discs that I have, or if when you're at home and if you can't find anything like that, you can use coins, different kind of coin, or you can use circular containers or lids of your containers. So let's begin. I'm going to demonstrate each of these to show you how I am using them. So let's put everything else aside and start with pencil and paper. So what we are going to do is, using these circular items, we are going to create circle on our paper. I would usually draw these circle very lightly because I am going to override them with a pen, but just for you guys to see it, I'm going to do it a little darker. Now I'm going to change the size and then create my next circle, but I am trying to attach it as close as possible to the previous one. Then I'm using this one. Let's use this one, which is a little larger than the previous one. And then I am placing it randomly again near the second circle that we drew, and drawing my third circle. There is no rhyme and reason about how you do is. You can turn your paper if you're not able to, see the circle properly. You can see that this did not come up correctly, but that's okay. I can correct it later on while I, overwrite it with a pen. And then I'm going to use one of these smaller coins and I'm going to stick it this way so that it is adjacent to two circles at a time. Hold it in the center and draw around it. So now you can see that I'm not just creating circles connecting just one circle to another. Now this one is connected to two. Okay. You can even use the smaller ones. Let's connect it here. Again, you can see that I don't bother about if they are, getting mixed within each other. Now to finish off this design, I'm going to place my largest one, or for that matter of fact, let's see. Yeah, this lid is larger than the thing. So I'm just going to place the lid, connecting it to this particular circle as close as possible. I'm sorry if my hand is coming in between. So now if you can see, I want this side to be my top, and you can see that it has this flow. Okay. Now just to add more interest, I'm going to use the small coins and I'm going to try to see if I can find even something even smaller and try to create more circles. I found this stencil which I have. It has these smaller circles. I'm going to try to use that. Anything circular would work. Doesn't have to be just these stencils or coins. Anything circular which you have at home would work, and any kind of paper would work. The reason why I came up with this idea was, in this difficult time where we all are sitting at home, some of us have to work from home and some of us are not working from home. We have kids at home who need to be kept busy, or you need to do some kind of activity with the kids, or even if you want to relax after a day of hard work. This is really something very relaxing and it can really help. So the next thing that you need to do is put everything else aside even the eraser. Take up your pen and start tracing around the circles. You don't have to be very accurate about how you're tracing around the circles. You can be really very sketchy about it. Go over the lines once or twice if you want to, make them more interesting. You can see here on this circle, I did not follow the exact circular thing because I don't want it to be very geometric. I want it to be very natural and very casual. So when you have two circles like this and you want to join through them, now in my case I have three circles over here. So I start from that point where those circles are and turn my paper around so that I don't mess it up too much. And even if you mess it up, don't think about it. Now that I have drawn all these circles, what I am going to do is add in a few smaller circle elements around the bigger ones, like even smaller than the smallest one that we traced. Okay, so let's begin from here. And because these are very small, I think I can freehand them. And again, remember that you don't have to be very perfect about it. You can even draw a couple of circles in the middle spaces. Don't have to connect all of them. And you see, I am not just going once. When I'm drawing these circles, I am going twice at least on them to make it look a little circular if it is oval in shape. Sorry if my camera is shaking. That is because the camera holder is attached to the desk and sometimes I forget it and my hand just bumps into it. You can see that wherever I am feeling like I need to go and make some changes to the shape or overwrite it, increase the width of the circle, like the border, I'm just going and doing it. I'm not thinking twice about how it will look. And doesn't always have to be a full circle. You see how I've added something like a half circle over there. That works too. I just need to stop because I need to show you the next steps. Otherwise I can just keep going. So I try to create something of a slant because that kind of shows the flow for me. I don't know what it is. I really love how it looks. So the next thing that what we are going to do here is doodle in some of these circles. So for those who haven't doodled even once before this, I am going to quickly show you some patterns which you can do in here. So let's start from the smaller circles first. So for the smaller circles, some simple things which I like to do is just draw lines inside, could be in any direction. Another thing which I like to do is draw concentric circles inside. Now the next pattern which I like to do is draw polka dots, a few polka dots inside the circles. In the smaller circles, I like to draw 3, and in the larger, as the circle go on, I like to multiply it by 2. Another thing which I like to do on the very small circles is just to draw dots inside. One more small easy one, okay? So I start from somewhere in the center and then in a spiral, I keep drawing outside. This is what I call as a spiral. So the next thing which I'm going to do in one of the bigger circles is going to show you how to draw a small teeny tiny flower, okay? So let's do this one. So again, from the center, I do a spiral, but not a very big spiral. Around the spiral, I'm going to draw small petals. So you can turn your paper. The petals don't have to be very symmetric. You can see that some of my petals are big, some are small. Next, what I do is draw these dashes and add a dot on the top. And then what I like to do is I like to create a border around the flower. Next up, again, I'm going to do a spiral, but I'm going to start at the corner, okay? So this time I'm going to start the spiral from the outside inwards. All right, then I'm just going to create a semicircle around it, and this time I'm going to draw a little bigger petals. Alright? Then again I'm going to draw the dash and the dot. Now you can either do another semicircle or you can do the scallop border as we did here. So let's do the scallop border. Now I don't want to leave this much empty space. So what I'm going to do is create two parallel lines going outwards. Now one more thing which we can do is create more variations of this. You must be thinking that this is becoming very florally and very girly, but you can always change up this pattern in any form you want. Like I like doing floral doodles, and that's what I am doing, but you can change it up in any way. We saw these dashes which we did in the beginning, and I like these dashes, these lines, lines to be a little sketchy, so I'm lightly uh, sliding my pen on the paper, so you can see that the lines are a little sketchy. If you don't like just the lines, you can make them into checks. Now I'm going to show you another kind of a flower. To do that, first you create an oval, fill it in. It's like a thin oval. Then you create a border around it. And now you create petals from it and touch it to the border of the circle. Turn your paper. So these are again petals, but these are long petals. And the reason why I'm turning the paper rather than turning my hand is because I tend to mess up these if I try to keep the paper in one position and turn my hand. They don't go in the correct direction. So you can do whatever works for you. So just to match this pattern, I am going to do the same thing on here. I am good at doing horizontal lines, so that's what I'm going to do. Create horizontal lines. I try to leave some small circles empty, but not all of them. Because this is in the center, I want to start from the most center of it, so I'm just putting a dot over there to mark the center, and I'm going to start doing the spiral again. I like to be repetitive in my design as much as I can, so that way it's kind of tied in. If you do like a different pattern on every circle, that's okay too, but that does not look uniform to me. One thing to remember while doing this is that this is to relax you, or to just spend some time away from the worries, away from the news channels, away from all the fear and anxiety and stress that the current situation is creating for us. And this is kind of your me time. So just sit down, maybe make a cup of coffee or tea for yourself, and just go with the flow. You actually don't have to do what I'm just showing you. You can create any pattern inside these circles, and you know what comes out of your mind. So the flowers is something that I tend to deviate too much towards, so that's why I like to draw a lot of flowers, and that's okay. And whatever comes out in your design will be wonderful, because that's what is your impression of art. Okay, the first time I created this circular pattern and played with it and doodled in it, it was on a Saturday afternoon, and I did it on a larger size. At the end of the video I'm going to show it to you, and I did it on a larger size of my journal, and I spent an entire Saturday afternoon just playing with these circles. So this is what I made, And now I'm going to show you the first one that I created. Hold on. So the first time that I played with this pattern was in this book, and I'm pretty sure you guys are not able to see it completely, so I'm going to turn it sideways. So this was the first time that I created this pattern. And what I did was the same thing that I showed you, that I used different circular items from my arsenal of supplies. So the first one is this one, which first I drew it, colored some of them in watercolor using rainbow colors, okay, and then left a couple of them just like that, especially the smaller ones, and then I drew all these doodles inside them. Before making this video, I was playing with the idea of how I could add some more interest to it. So this is what I came up with, and you can see that I have messed up a lot, but look at it, it looks so pretty. And in this one I used my Tombow markers or sketch pens, whatever you call them. I directly colored them in using both the sides wherever and whenever required. So you can use watercolors, you can use crayons, you can use any kind of markers or sketch pens you have at home and create something like this. And then now, what can you make with these? Okay, you can cut this thing out, put it on a colorful pink color card panel, and make a card out of it. Or what I think is the best idea is what I'm going to do with this one. And you can see the quality of the paper. This is a very thick paper, a watercolor paper, but this journal paper which I made this on the first time, it's a very thin paper. So doesn't matter what you do it on. So I created it on a journal. What I am going to do is I'm going to cut this out, or I'm going to scan it, and I'm going to frame it. So this could be just a part of your relaxation, but if you really like what you made, you can always frame it, okay? Or like this, you can use it as a bookmark. You can cut it out. If you don't want it I like it in a slant, you can create a straight one, and you can cut it out. You can use it as a bookmark, or you can make a card out of it. Put it on a colored background and make a card out of it. So I hope you guys like this idea, and you can use this idea and spend some time, relax yourself. I hope you all stay safe in this difficult time. Please don't go out if it's not essential, and you guys stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and do subscribe and comment and like my videos so that I can come up with more such simple and beautiful ideas for you. Bye bye, take care.